Am I the a-hole for getting the disabled girl fired so I can use her fancy bathroom? I, 29 male, have started a new position at the beginning of November with a decent-sized law firm in my city. Things have been going great up until this week. The first 3 weeks I have been here, I have heard lots of horror stories about a member of the office we will call Jolene. I heard that the last 2 people that took this position were basically bullied out of the post by Jolene, and that anybody who makes any complaints to HR basically gets told to put up and shut up for 2 reasons. First, Jolene, despite not being the most popular person in the office, is very good at what she does to the point the company sees her as invaluable. And secondly, Jolene is a wheelchair user and is apparently very quick to throw the discrimination card around as soon as something doesn't go her way.
All right.
Hey, use what you got.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
Another key point to this tale is that I use a stoma bag and have done so since I was a baby. Stoma bag is like a colostomy bag. It's basically like it collects poop instead of out of your butthole. It collects it out of like straight from the intestine.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week is the first week I've interacted with Jolene as she was on annual leave for the first 3 weeks I was with the company. I was using the disabled bathroom to empty my bag when I started hearing a loud banging on the door. I said, "One moment," and opened the door to a lady in a wheelchair, the infamous Jolene. I was berated for about 5 minutes with things such as, why is a healthy young man using a disabled bathroom? I should be ashamed. And she was drawing the attention of everyone in the nearby vicinity before she even let me speak. I eventually got a word in and reminded her that not all disabilities are blatantly obvious and lifted my shirt up to show her my bag. It's like the equivalent of like a superhero showing their abs.
Yeah, just like,
Yeah. She went bright red and I got on with my day, which honestly she should. That's pretty embarrassing.
Come on now.
The next day, I go to use the disabled bathroom to find a poster on the door saying, "Wheelchair users only." What? Real talk, John.
Talk to me, for real.
Have you ever used the disability bathroom?
Oh, no, I use it all the time. Bro, I was like, why would I take a dookie in this tiny little stall when I could go to the king's bathroom right over here?
I didn't make a huge fuss, but happened to mention to the colleague across the table from me, have you seen Jolene's latest stunt? This is the woman who told me to watch out for Jolene initially. I go home from the day and return the next to an email saying to report to HR as soon as I clock in.
Uh-oh.
I get in there to be told that I am receiving a verbal warning as my tittle-tattle in the office caused a huge bust-up between Jolene and my mentor. Jolene was in the office and smirking all the while. I lost my cool and told Jolene that the only reason she is still in a job is because of how long she has been with the business and that she isn't going to bully me out of my position like she had my 2 predecessors. I told her that I apologize that she has been dealt a bad hand, but it doesn't give her the right to treat people like shit, and that she is no longer the only disabled person in the office, so she isn't going to keep getting away with her stunts. Laying it down, OP.
Laying it down.
I then told HR about the bathroom incident and what followed. Eventually, Jolene was suspended pending investigation.
Oh
shit.
Plot twist, my goodness.
I must admit, I felt great on the day, but as the week has gone on, I can't help but feel guilty. I wanted to teach her a bit of a lesson, not to put her job at risk, especially in times like we were having, cost of living crisis, etc. So, am I the a-hole? And there is an update.
Oh. So, if we're asking if OP is the a-hole or not, I'm very curious to know, at least as of right now, what do you all think? Is OP the a-hole or not? I think no.
I think no, too.
Because OP does have a disability. Like, think about it. Like, you want to have privacy when dealing with that.
Yeah.
And so if you go to a public bathroom, then like, I could totally, like, OP totally deserves some privacy. And you know, Jolene assumed that he didn't have
a disability,
anything, you know? So
yeah.
It's like, you know, it's too much. Let the man use the bathroom.
Jolene sounds like an apple a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's go to the update.
Oh, let's do it.
Apparently, one of the questions was, is there a disability key? In public places, yes. Registered disabled people are given what is known as a radar key, which is essentially a skeleton key to access any additional needs/disabled bathroom. That's pretty cool.
Whoa.
But here's the update. Nothing official has happened, but had a chat with HR strictly off the record. Jolene was suspended as we had off-site visitors in on the day, meaning that her sign could have been deemed as bringing the company into disrepute, which is classed as gross misconduct. Basically, like maybe it would make it so the company wasn't actually respecting the disability laws.
Yeah.
I said off the record that I'd be happy to drop the complaint, as to be honest, I don't really want to play the office politics and I'm already over what was said. I also harbor no ill will towards the company as they have been fantastic with me and I can't blame an entire company for the unauthorized actions of one person. However, it's been taken out of my hands as the venue director is getting involved, which strikes me as a bad sign for Jolene.
Oh, man.
For those interested, they expunged my warning, so I have a clean slate again. Whilst nobody is openly celebrating Jolene's departure, as would be a bit classless, there certainly seems to be a better atmosphere around the office, so I guess that's a positive. Just wanted to say thanks for the love and support on this. Just shows what a wholesome group the people here are. Take care all. We love Reddit sometimes.
You know, sometimes it kind of works out, you know?
Sometimes it kind of works out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. I feel like I learned a little bit about
Same.
Disabled bathrooms.
Yes.
And how John still uses it every day and makes all disabled people wait.
Monster.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. That is true. And also I would love for anyone in the community to comment below on their experience
with disabled bathrooms and
with,
what disabilities count to get in to
I guess
club?
he talked about the registered
Ooh, does anyone have a skeleton
disability
key?
I mean,
the
that's
disability key.
Honestly, like it's a cool little system.
That sounds pretty sick.
I kicked out my disabled brother because I didn't want to deal with him. Now my parents are furious. Am I the a-hole?
I think the question is, how disabled? Are we talking ADHD or are we talking likes pineapple on his pizza?
My brother Terry is nonverbal and according to his specialist has the intellectual/mental capacity of a very young child. Terry can still be very difficult to look after. He will experience meltdowns if something makes him uncomfortable, such as food texture that he doesn't like, or he will throw fits if he can't have his way. Terry has broken holes into the walls during the meltdown/fits, and I'm honestly afraid of him whenever he becomes destructive that way because he is larger and stronger than me. I have been parentified by the time I was about 13 because my parents expected me to handle Terry's needs whenever they were busy or needed a break. I have been upfront with my parents that I still hold resentment towards them because of this, and that Terry should not have been my responsibility to the extent that they made him.
Yeah, too much.
My parents insist their parenting was perfect and are unwilling to alter their viewpoint.
Maybe they're wrong, maybe they're not on this, but to say that your parenting is perfect is bonkers.
I told them I am not going to be Terry's caregiver and to not leave him with me. Unfortunately, my parents know where I live.
Oh, what? No, they're not just dropping off Terry.
Recently, my parents have begun ringing my doorbell, telling me to watch Terry and then leaving before I can say anything back. They're literally ding-dong ditching their son.
Human.
Then I'd have to cancel my plans and wait on the porch with Terry until they come back. When they came back, I told them all 4 times to stop doing this, but was ignored every time. I was forced to call out of work for most of the recent drop-off incident.
That's really messed up. Now OP is actually losing income.
Yes.
Because the parents can't take care of Terry. I feel bad for Terry, though.
I lost my temper with my mother when she came to pick Terry up and told her that if she or my father try to leave Terry with me even one more time, I will call Adult Protective Services and report Terry as abandoned.
Dang. OP means business.
A few days later, my mom again dropped Terry off on my porch and took off. So I followed through with my word and I called to report Terry as an abandoned disabled adult. My goodness.
That sucks, dude.
I waited with him on the porch until a social worker came. My parents exploded on me, calling me a horrible daughter and sister. They said that they were barely able to get Terry back and accused me of only caring about myself and wanting Terry to be neglected in a public home. I snapped at them that Terry would probably be better off in a public group home because they're the ones neglecting him for their own convenience.
I mean, that's some facts right there.
And that I'm not going to keep putting my life on pause for their own personal comfort anymore. Now people, mostly friends of my parents, who I barely even know or remembered, are bombarding me with messages calling me selfish. A few have approached me in public to tell me that I don't give a shit about my brother and I'm ungrateful for all the sacrifices my parents made for me and Terry. I've already changed my phone number.
It's that bad?
But it's getting so bad that I'm considering applying for a job transfer and moving. Am I the a-hole, and are their words towards me deserved? Now, we do have an update here. Take a little break, everyone. What do we make of this?
I mean, we've been saying it the whole time. Like, this is a really not clear-cut situation.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gray.
Yeah.
The parents are the a-holes for dropping off Terry unannounced at the cost of OP's job, and that's not fair to OP. I think ultimately, yes, I'm going to side with OP. The parents are the a-hole. OP didn't ask for this, but I understand the flack that she's getting for people who don't understand how complicated the situation is.
I do think that OP did need to kind of like lay down the law, but is there a better option that doesn't make like Terry the victim as much in this situation? Let's close it out with the updates. Hello, everyone. I am not sure if anyone is still reading this post, but I wanted to give a brief update in case anyone is still interested. I did apply for the job transfer and was approved. I will be completely moved to a new city in a few weeks. I have only told a few close friends so they could help me move discreetly. I have not told my parents that I'm moving or my new address, and my friends know to either not tell them or give them an imaginary address. I wanted to thank everyone for your kind words and support.
So OP's just leaving.
OP's leaving. I just caught my best friend's dad having an affair with a senior at my high school. Should I tell someone?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
Hey, everyone. So my best friend's name is Alex. We're both 17 female. When we were younger, 11, 12-ish, we had this friend named Lauren. Alex has a really big house and a lot of cool stuff, so about every week we would have a sleepover in her den. It would be me, her, and Lauren, and a few other girls. Lauren started saying that she had a crush on Alex's dad, which we all thought was weird, but we just kind of ignored. Then it got weirder, and she was saying she wanted to have kids with him and everything. So Alex finally talked to her and told her she thought the whole thing was weird, and if she kept saying stuff like that, that she wasn't going to be able to come to her house anymore. Lauren stopped, and everything was fine for a while, but then we just sort of naturally grew apart from Lauren. We were still friends with her and everything, but she didn't really come over or anything like that. She'd still talk about Alex's dad, though just not directly to Alex.
How hot is this dad?
If your dad was Jason Momoa, I'd be like,
I'm sorry, but I am fully erect right now. There's nothing I can do.
At one point, she said that she blew him, but he wasn't even in the country when she said that it had happened. He had been on vacation with Alex and her sisters. Anyway, yesterday my brother and I went to the mall kind of far away, and I saw Lauren and Alex's dad, and they were clearly together and were acting like really affectionate and everything.
I mean, I think that just goes to show, like, if you have a dream, you can do anything you want in America. You can do anything you want in this country.
My brother told me that we need to keep our mouths shut about this because it's none of our business, but I really don't see how I can't tell Alex about this. Even though I know she's going to tell her mom if I tell her, but shouldn't her mom know? I feel like I'm betraying Alex if I don't tell her, and if she finds out I knew without telling her, it would end our friendship. Edit to answer. Yes, he is married to Alex's mom.
Oh, no.
And no, he's not exactly 30. I said 30s because I didn't know exactly how old he is. My dad is 43, and I know her dad is a little bit younger.
You got to respect the determination of this girl.
But Sam,
yeah,
there is an update.
There is an update.
Buckle up, everybody.
Buckle my shoe.
I told Alex last Friday after school.
She spilled the beans.
And she showed her the picture. She immediately wanted to find Lauren and confront her. But once she calmed down, we decided we should go to Alex's mom first. Alex's mom is a really calm lady, but when we went and told her mom what I'd seen and I showed her the picture, she was like, "That
son of a bitch. That son of a bitch.
and started getting really upset.
There's so many layers of wrong in this.
Cheating, daughter's friend, high schooler.
Yeah.
Whoa. Apparently, Alex's dad had cheated on his mom before.
Oh.
And the girls he's been showing interest in have been getting younger and younger.
Got a regular Leonardo DiCaprio on our hands.
Actually. So she's had suspicions for a while. I told my mom about this whole situation right after I posted here. So Alex's mom calls her dad and was like, you need to come home now. So she confronted him about it and told him one of your daughter's friends saw you out with another woman. And get this, Alex's dad thought it was Lauren who had confronted her as a way to blow up his spot, I guess, and cause trouble in his marriage.
That's a good way to lock it down. And if we've learned one thing in this story, Lauren gets what she wants.
Apparently. So he immediately was like, you know, that girl, Lauren, has been causing issues for years. She's a liar, and this is why we banned her from our house and stuff like that. And he kept denying it. And even when Alex's mom told him it wasn't Lauren who told her, he was still denying. So she showed him the picture and he flipped out.
Yo, evidence.
I mean, evidence. Dude. Alex called me crying and I could hear her parents screaming at each other. So she came to stay with us. So according to my mom, Alex's mom kicked her dad out and said it was over. He was never seeing the kids again and she was going to call the cops. So he starts calling Alex and she answers once and says, don't effing ever call me again. And then she sets him on Do Not Disturb.
Wow.
Alex's mom called Lauren's mom, and Lauren's mom also freaked out. She had her suspicions something has been going on with Lauren, but Lauren was being super secretive and her mom wasn't able to put it all together until Alex's mom called her and told her literally everything that we had shared, including all of the stuff Lauren had said when we were younger. I guess Alex's mom told her to look for notebooks or texts from a while ago and talk to Lauren to see if they can find anything that would show him and Lauren had a relationship before she was 18.
Oh, okay. So she's 18.
At this time, 18, but are now digging to see is there any evidence that anything went on before. Lauren hasn't been seen in school since she sent both me and Alex nasty messages on WhatsApp saying that we were bitches and that Alex is going to end up a fat punt like her mom. Her mom is gorgeous and so is Alex. And basically telling me that since I outed her relationship with Alex's dad, she grossly called him by his first name. I don't know. So weird that it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you call him? Mr.
Wawa. Mr. Gray.
God. She was going to out me and Alex as lesbians.
Oh my God. This is like the most high school drama.
Literally. She actually called us gigantic lesbians. Laughing emoji. But whatever. We're not getting mad at her because it sounds like some pretty messed up stuff might have happened to her. So even though I have my personal opinion about her right now, I really don't understand that much about psychology or anything. So I just really hope that she gets the help if she needs it. I mean, that's a pretty mature perspective to have, I would say, as a high schooler.
Mature beyond her years.
Alex and her mom are both doing as well as can be expected, I guess.
Yeah, jeez.
Alex's mom got a lawyer and a therapist for Alex. That's a good move.
Good combo.
Everyone at school,
oh no.
Everyone at school knows what's going on and it's weird for her.
That is
the worst.
That would suck so much. Imagine the bullying.
Why are you bullying
She's
me?
still going though and not pretending like nothing is happening. She's talking to people about it if they ask her, so that helps. A few people are talking trash about Lauren, but mostly everyone agrees that Alex's dad is the biggest / mostly only piece of shit here. So that's the update. Alex's dad is kicked out. If they find proof he did stuff with Lauren before she was 18, or if she speaks up, they're going to call the cops. I know Alex's mom already called the local department and told them her suspicions.
Wow.
Holy
shit. What a bonehead fucking idiot.
This guy is
piece of trash move.
What is the question here?
Would you hook up with a high schooler?
Have you ever heard of a similar situation.
Yeah, a similar
I
story.
imagine. And then, like, I guess the obvious thing is, what do you do in OP's shoes? I will not give my sister a penny from our $69,000 inheritance for her infertility. I think it's fair. Am I the a-hole? I am 29 female, and my sister, Ella, is 31 female. My husband's Tom, and her husband is John. Ella is bisexual, and our parents were religious AF. So when she brought home a girlfriend in high school, they kicked her out. When my mom passed away, she never got any of the inheritance.
So they cut her out of the inheritance just because she likes girls?
The both of us had cut contact with our parents, but I still decided to accept money because I figured it's one of the good things to come out of our abusive life, so why not? The legal side of things were finalized a week ago. Ella and John came to see me while my husband Tom was at work and told me that they wanted to talk about something important. They had said that they had exhausted all of their fertility money and didn't have enough to try IVF again. I could see where all of this was going.
They want some of that fertility cash.
So I just said, I'm sorry, Ella. I understand. I was thinking about this as well. And Tom thinks that this is the right thing to do. You should have half of the money. You deserve it.
This is not where I thought it was going to go. That's like super fair.
Her husband, John, tells me that's not what they wanted to talk about, that they wanted all of the money.
Wait, how does that make sense?
Give it to me.
Every single cent?
Apparently, half won't be enough. I tell them that I was going to use my part, or if she didn't want the half, all of it, for my daughter's college fund and another fund for her to use whatever she wishes during her teenage years.
She's literally investing in her daughter's future. Don't take away school.
Who needs college, okay?
That's true. John is an advocate for no college.
Throw it away. I reminded Ella that we always promised each other our children will be financially well off because we never had that growing up. Where I live, college is extremely expensive, so despite my daughter being only 3, Tom and I wanted to start this for her. I tell Ella and John all of this, and Ella is just very upset at this point. John is more willing to have a conversation, though. She comes back from the kitchen and says that I'm rubbing the fact that I'm a mother in her face.
My womb worked.
I'm angry by this point because I thought she loved my daughter like her own. Ella said I was sabotaging her and that I owed her for looking after me when we were young kids.
What, you babysat your sister a couple times and now you're like, I'm entitled to the whole fortune.
John said since Ella faced more struggles, she deserved all of it despite knowing full well our parents hurt me regularly as well.
I don't think it should be like a who had a harder life gets the most money deal.
I was just not prepared to fight. My daughter needed my attention and I wanted Tom to be by my side because Ella was acting aggressive. I asked him to leave and I called Tom. We discussed this again and agreed we shouldn't give them the money. Ella calls me and I pick up. She tells me that she has to try again and that her relationship is rocky because they're frustrated they can't have a kid. Now we see what's below the surface and why they're pushing so hard for this money.
A baby will not save your marriage. Spend that money on a trip to Italy and then just f- like rabbits and then maybe you have a chance of having a kid.
I told her I would not give her the entire amount and I just hung up. I felt guilty about all of this, but I don't know if I should. Maybe since I don't have an immediate use for the money, I should have given it to her. Am I the a-hole? Now there is an update. I guess the question right now is OP the a-hole at this point?
No.
No?
No. It should 1,000% be split evenly. And it, like also what it does is like it's like, oh, my trauma is worse than yours. You ever want to do some trauma comparisons?
Yeah.
I think split it in half, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Hello. I apologize for the update taking so long, almost a month. I got caught up with everything that was going on, but now that I have a moment, I thought I'd write this since a lot of you guys wanted an update. I got a lot of helpful tips, and I also understood that I was not the a-hole. The relief I felt was huge, so thank you for helping me out. I didn't reach out to Ella or John like I initially planned, now that I knew I had nothing to apologize for. A few days after, though, John had come over alone to my house and apologized for what Ella said.
I mean, that doesn't happen often. Apologies in a Reddit story.
It's kind of crazy, but I was dumb for thinking they would stop there because John asked for the money again. They still felt like they deserved all the money. Luckily for me, I did not have to deal with all of this for the second time since Tom was home and they talked it out. It ended with John threatening to sue and whatnot. Ella began posting the nastiest things on Facebook and it was embarrassing to explain to my friends. I just felt like I had to cut off contact. They were being aggressive aggressive and just overall so horrible to my family. I told Ella that I did not want to have contact with her anymore, and I blocked them all. Ella showed up with John again, though. This time, they asked for half of the money. Interesting.
Okay, so now they're going basement bargain hunting.
So Tom and I talked about this, and we decided not to give them anything.
That doesn't feel right.
Zero.
That doesn't feel right.
We offered it to them even after the incident, and all they did was insult us. We are going to use it for our daughter's future. We talked to our lawyer, and they can't really do anything legally, and they probably won't even try because they have no money. To clarify a few things, some people mentioned how IVF is not that expensive. Ella chose a very particular clinic. It's their second time doing this cycle, and so they have decided to go for the more expensive option. I don't know why. Hence why they needed more money than their half. At least this is what they told me. We had a poor childhood, but got a big inheritance because our parents were rich. They just didn't spend any of the money on us. And a lot of you think setting up a teen fund for my daughter would spoil her, but it's not anything she would want for fun. It's just an emergency fund that we wanted to set up so she could use it until she turns 18 in case of emergencies, or if she wants a car, money for traveling, or other things not directly related to college. Okay, I feel like we have a pretty big plot twist here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've heard a lot of inheritance stories actually from our viewers, actually.
No. We would actually love to hear your inheritance stories.
Yeah, I'd be very curious.
And also, I would be curious, like, what would you do in this situation? Because OP kind of flip-flopped, right? I think OP giving them half, non-a-hole move, giving them nothing, even though they were a-holes before, I think is an a-hole move.
I totally agree. I do think that it would be important to, like, how can you kind of like have a repercussion baked into it? Hey, you deserve a repercussion for your actions because you heard us for doing what was a pretty fair thing.
Am I the a-hole for taking my racist son's birthday money and donating it to charities to cure his racism?
Honestly, I love this as a parenting tactic.
What, helping your racist child be more racist?
Yes, that's exactly what I meant, Sam.
So me, 44 male, and my ex-wife, 43 female, divorced 6 years ago after I discovered she was having an affair with a guy from work.
Ouch.
Hate to see it. She married the guy a year later, and we have 50-50 custody of our son, 15 male. I met my girlfriend, 39 female, 2 years ago, and she is now moved in. But for her son's 15th birthday, me and my girlfriend visited my ex and her new husband because I wanted my son's birthday to be nice for him with both of his parents as well as his stepdad and dad's girlfriend, whom he has a good relationship with too.
I like it.
He got $200 birthday money from all his relatives, including some rich ones who like to spoil him. He was very happy as he is into photography and is saving up for a professional camera. The other day, while he was at mine, we were having dinner and his phone vibrated and he went on it and looked like he was typing. We have a very strict no phone at the table rule, so my girlfriend told him to put it down. He refused and said,
I'm busy. I got all my notifications on 4chan I have to reply to. I have to post this Pepe meme. Come on.
So I told him to hand it over. He refused, so I snatched it off of him. Immediately, he kept trying to get it back. And then I saw what was on the phone.
What was it?
Conversation on the phone was very vulgar. It was full of racist comments coming from my son and his best friend. They were praising the H cost. They were supporting the triple K, and it was sickening to read. I looked at my son, and then I handed my girlfriend the phone to look at the messages. She looked shocked, and then I went up to my son's room, him chasing after me. I saw his piggy bank, which had his $200 in it. I grabbed the piggy bank and emptied the money into my hands. I told my son, as punishment, I was donating his money to charities that supports H-cost survivors and charities that fight racism, etc.
There we go. I like it.
Which is W parenting. by the
Oh,
way.
big W parenting.
He yelled, "I can't," and was stealing. My son stormed to his room, and I yelled at him for his actions. I usually don't yell at my son, but I was angry here. I grounded him, closed all his social media accounts, and I'm actually donating his money to charities that support the survivors of H-cost and charities that aim to fight racist hate crime. Yesterday morning, my son had gone. Turns out he had snuck out at night and was at his mom's. I got a text from my ex calling me a dick, a thief, and that I should not have overreacted.
It's funny how the person who slept with someone else and then
Taking the moral high ground.
It's over, Anakin!
She says, give back the money or she'll call the cops and go back to court to get full-time custody of my son.
God.
She's using this as a bargaining chip.
Oh, this
That's
lady
so
pisses me off.
I know. My girlfriend says I'm in the right here and he deserved it, while my ex-wife and her husband are threatening me with the police. It's been a day now. I was wondering, am I the a-hole for taking my son's birthday money to donate to charities because of his racism? Okay, so do you think OP is the a-hole? Put it in the comments right now. Clickety clack. What would you do if you caught your son posting some racist Pepe memes on 4chan? But John, what do you think?
Again, kind of like we were saying, like, I think this is a really, really smart move to show his son, like, listen, you cannot be doing this stuff, and he's easily impressionable right now.
Yeah,
right? So,
exactly. And he could easily be guided away from this,
away
kind of
from
stuff,
it,
you know?
or like in the other direction, right? And I think that the mom is trying to curry favor because probably
she's using it as a bargaining chip.
so maybe the mom is like, hey, I want to be known as like the cool mom or like whatever. So I will just side with him whatever he wants to do, which is just so sad because that's
I know, because she's prioritizing her relationship with him over his development and what will be best for him long term.
exactly.
Which is, yeah, it's really
So,
sad.
I crashed my husband's funeral and stole the entire inheritance from his family, even though I'm rich. Am I the a-hole?
They say take from the dead and give to the rich.
You know, why not? So I, 34 female, got married when I was 24 to a 53-year-old man.
That is a big age difference.
I think it's not enough.
You're going to be changing his diapers.
Let's go 70.
Why not?
Let's go 100. Let's call him F. I met him when I was 20. When we began dating, we received all sorts of accusations and criticism, but we didn't care. We went on to have a happy, quiet life and 3 children. Now 8 male, 5 male, 3 female.
I guess that's fine. 2 consenting adults.
And we were hoping for baby number 4 on my request. When COVID hit, F continued as an essential worker, a doctor.
Those buco bucks, baby.
While I went home as a high-risk patient due to a long history of pulmonary issues, including a lobectomy. In October, we both tested positive for COVID. For me, it was like a regular cold. F landed in the ICU in a week. He was connected to a ventilator on October 25th, and he passed away on December 10th.
Yikes, that sucks. I feel bad about all the jokes I made before.
The news was devastating, especially having to explain to my children that their daddy will not be coming back. They all tested negative, so we sent them to my parents. After arranging a funeral delayed by sanitary protocols, max 12 people in attendance, I got a call from my husband's daughter from his first marriage. He was widowed at age 40. His children are now 41 female, 36 female, 36 male, and 41.
His children are twice the age of his wife?
Players gonna play.
Okay, all right. I'm not judging.
Let my man live. The 41-year-old was the one who called, who asked me not to attend the funeral.
I mean, she has kids with him at this point. Like, come on.
Because they didn't want to explain to their kids why grandma, me, was younger than their own parents.
I think that's a bullshit reason, though.
So I said no. I owed it to my husband, F, to be there. And she didn't even have to look at me if she didn't want to. She berated and screamed at me until I decided to hang up. Since then, I've received hateful messages and calls insulting me, calling my children bastards, and threatening to physically stop me from entering.
What the f?
My God. I understand why they, the daughters mostly, hold resentments towards me, and I have tolerated stoically them calling me a sleut, a gold digger, and a midlife crisis.
I understand a lot of like skepticism about this.
Yes.
Right? But after they're married and have kids, like that's just terrible.
I guess I'd be upset too if my stepmother was younger than me. And according to 36 Male, they feel that my babies replaced them. For F's sake, I have never pushed my family onto them, and only 36 Male and his husband have met my kids. I've only seen his grandkids through pictures. Another sore topic is the inheritance.
Oh, geez. She's going to get everything, isn't she?
Here, where I live, you don't get to write a will. By law, your spouse gets 50% of the assets, while the other 50% is split evenly amongst your children. Not only does she get 50% automatically, but now the old kids
have to share with all of the new babies.
I didn't even think about that. I see why they're pissed.
Since my kids are underage, I will guard their share, which I intend to put towards college funds and give them a good kickstart in life. But that means that I will receive 75% of the total of the inheritance. Now, I considered taking on the 25% that my kids are entitled to, and instead of taking 50%, only taking 25% for myself and the household. But since 41 and 36 female had ganged up on me to give up my share completely, since I had plenty of money on my own, I'm tempted to keep the full 50% just to annoy them.
I mean, she got so much abuse from them, it sounds like. I wouldn't want to give it to them either.
They don't need the money any more than I do. I know that for a fact. I feel I have the right and obligation to attend my husband's funeral as a last farewell, but I don't want to antagonize them anymore. My mom says I should step back and find closure my own way to avoid bringing them more pain, which has brought a lot of doubt. My dad and my BFF say that I can't let them trample me, and I have as much a right as anyone else to be there. I have until Monday to decide. So, would I be the a-hole? Quick edit, clarification, since the wording came out wrong. He was 53 when we married, 63 when he passed away.
He's even older. Damn.
What do you think? Do you think that OP is the a-hole for this decision?
OP should 100% go to the funeral. I do understand why the kids are super salty.
What about the inheritance splitting though? What do you think there?
If those are the rules, say take the 75%. The other kids don't seem like they need it. They were terrible to her. Best thing to do would be to ask yourself, and really sit down, what would your husband want in this situation?
Yeah.
You're entitled to it. So
It's technically yours, man.
Technically yours. I forced my wife to go to a party and all her deepest secrets were revealed. I don't know if I can stay married to her. Me and my wife, Korea, have been married for 4 years now. I think it's Kara.
Me and my wife, Kim Jong-un.
We had an arranged marriage, but so far we have had a good marriage and a strong bond. I love her and would do anything for her in the blink of an eye. But before we got married, we decided that we will have to have our individual space and we don't have to tell each other everything unless we feel the other person should definitely know. The arrangement went well for years. I didn't have much to hide or to tell, but she did.
Here we go, the juicy deets.
When I met Kara for the first time, she was a very conservative person and a bit too devoted to religion. She told me she wasn't a good person in the past, but since then she has tried to be a good person living a moral life. She told me some details about her past and how she was a wild girl in college and had several relationships and partners. Just having several relationships and partners is not that wild.
How dare you?
You dated 2 people in college. Even after we got married, she would tell me some details about her past, but I never pressed to get those details. She always refers to her college self in third person. And whenever she talks about her past, she always says that her college self is a horrible person. Since then, she has been more devoted to religion and is quite a different person from her previous self. I have seen some pictures and videos, and Kara is nothing like that person today. You know what? I think Kara sounds like fun. Kara doesn't have a lot of friends and mostly spends her time praying or with other religious stuff. I am the only person she shares her thoughts with. A few months ago, out of the blue, she got a call from her best friend from college, Renee. I saw Kara light up after talking to Renee. Kara felt so happy after reconnecting with Renee, and Ray invited her to a party at her place. Renee also called up some of their other friends from college. Kara was conflicted about going to the party, but I convinced her to go, saying the worst that could happen is that she has a boring night.
Or
If you find yourself on Reddit, that's never the worst that could have happened. Kara asked me to come along with her. Even during the drive, I was thinking about getting some embarrassing and funny stories about my wife to her friends. When we reached Renee's place, I realized why Kara was conflicted. Kara was dressed very conservatively. Light makeup and very little jewelry. Her friends from college were dressed the exact opposites. They were dressed like tweens going out to a party all night.
this guy sounds like such a freaking grandpa.
The night started normally about the girls sharing funny tales, but the stories quickly became raunchy and rather horrifying. I found out Kara and Renee were the leaders of a group of mean girls. They slept around, abused alcohol and drugs on occasion, and ruined people's lives. Kara stepped away to go to the bathroom. when the group turned to me and told me stories about my wife. Renee talked about Kara sleeping with most of the professors at their college. Renee purposely told me about how Kara and Renee systematically gaslit women into believing that she is a lesbian and ruined her marriage because her husband had rejected Kara's advances. And all the girls found this incident to be funny.
A little much.
Kara isn't as cool as I thought. I wanted to leave, but I couldn't find Kara. I went to the bathroom to look for her and found her curled up in a corner crying. I picked her up and left immediately. The entire drive back, Kara was sobbing and kept repeating, "I am so sorry." She was inconsolable for days and she threw herself into religion hard. She started praying for 6 to 8 hours every day. Her daily prayers and rituals usually took 2 hours. That lady's dedicated.
That is wild.
I thought that giving her space would help her heal, and she would talk to me whenever she is ready. We haven't talked much since then. She still cuddles up in bed, but doesn't say anything. Last week, she told me she has decided to be celibate for the rest of her life to repent for her former sins. OP, I see why you're coming to Reddit for this problem solved. I have tried talking to her about therapy, but she is adamant on her plan. I ruined my near perfect life by forcing her to go to that party. There is a big update. It's juicy. All right, for all our sexually active people,
Hot poppies and mommies.
if your partner said, "Yo, I want to be celibate for the rest of my life," what you doing? That's a tough pill to swallow.
I'm making a total guess here, but OP seems the like wait till marriage vibe, or at least like the, you know, more celibate vibes. If you think they should boink, put boink in the comments.
Yeah. I'm pro boink, but I also think like she just went through something traumatic. You got to respect what she says, of course.
But I'm curious about this juicy update.
Last night when we got into bed, I told her, "I love you and I will wait for you to be ready for me." At the time, I wasn't sure what I meant. I just had to talk to her. Her eyes swelled up with tears. I can tell she wanted to wail and scream, but was holding back. She grabbed me and didn't want to let go. She whispered, "I love you," and we held each other for the rest of the nights. In the morning, I asked if we should talk to a therapist. I assured her I would try to support her decisions either way. She agreed and kissed me. We hadn't kissed in almost 2 months. I thought I had my wife back, but a few minutes later, she texted me from the kitchen, "My celibacy doesn't have to mean yours. You are free to leave me. If you want to stay, I will not interfere with your physical needs." It killed me reading that text. We haven't said a word to each other since then. Okay, another update.
Oh my goodness.
Kara started therapy thanks to the efforts of some members of her religious group. She will need a lot of time, and I don't know if I will ever get my wife back. Everyone keeps telling me that she will get better soon, but I am not sure if she would still be my wife when she does. Even if she does come back, I have heard things about her past that make it very hard for us to continue the relationship. Some details make me feel that Kara doesn't deserve happiness. I don't know about that. For now, I will support her to help her with the recovery, but I'm not sure what happens after. Again, I want to bring the question to you guys, like, what would you do if your wife or your significant other, your husband, whatever, said, "I need to be celibate"? Let us know in the comments. John, what do you think about OP? Like, do you think he's the a-hole?
You know, if you put a gun to my head and made me decide, I would say leaning on the a-hole in the a-hole spectrum, because I feel like by my like inference of how he like shares his thoughts here, seems like he's casting a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
It's kind of also, it just gives me whiplash that she's like, "Hey, I am like gonna pray like 8 hours a day and never have sex again, but if you want to go buck wild, like just go for it."
Yeah.
The big question is, what do you all think? My engagement ring is my fiance's family's prized family heirloom, and now they're trying to steal it back, but I have a plan. So I, 31 female, recently lost my fiance, 37 male, Jake. We had been together for 6 years, and his death was unexpected, and I'm still in mourning. At the funeral, which I arranged and paid for, his brother, 32 male, Jim, asked me when I'm going to return the engagement ring to the family.
Not the time, bro. At least don't do it at the fucking funeral.
Now, for context, the engagement ring which Jake proposed is an ancient family heirloom. It's a gorgeous ring, but what makes it priceless is the story behind it. Jake got the ring from his grandma a month after we started dating. He claimed he knew back then that he would marry me someday and wanted to get his grandma's blessing on the ring. When he proposed, his grandma had already passed away, so having the blessings put on the ring made it extra special for the both of us. I asked Jim if he's serious, to which he said, Yes.
Jim is a dick.
Apparently, his longtime girlfriend, Stacy, saw the ring a while ago and fell in love with it. She kept nagging him to get something similar, which he couldn't.
Because Jim Bob is freaking broke.
He figured since I can no longer marry Jake, he can propose to Stacy with it. I told him that he is rude and that the ring was blessed especially for Jake and I in mind. And even if that wasn't the case, bringing it up during Jake's funeral is incredibly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Come on.
Oh, after the funeral, I got a message from Stacy saying it would mean the world for her to be the new owner of the ring.
It's my precious.
Give me the ancient family heirloom. The powers it possesses of being a big fat diamond on my ring.
And I could always think of her and Jim's wedding as the bittersweet ending to my relationship.
Why would you want to do that? How are people
Who are
so
you?
out of touch?
She said the ring was blessed, so one of the grandsons can marry the love of his life. And since Jim is the only living grandson left, he has to claim it.
I don't think so.
You know what IP did?
What?
I blocked her.
Bam.
So, my ex-mother-in-law also reached out to me and said that although she understands my pain, I can't keep the ring since it's a family heirloom. So I should suck it up and give it to Jim. I snapped and told her, no, the ring is staying with me and following
me.
and it's following me to the grave if need be. It's a beautiful symbol of Jake's love, and I won't let Jim and Stacy sully the memory of him. Good for you, girl.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
The ring is legally mine.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. So all they can do is cry about it and be bitter. They keep harassing me on social media saying I'm a bad person and that I stole the family heirloom to spite Jim and Stacy out of jealousy. Jealousy of what? Being poor? But I ignore them. Today, I met up with my brother, and he said that although Jim's approach was highly inappropriate, I'm being selfish for keeping the ring as a keepsake. I could always wear different jewelry that Jake bought me in his memory, but they could never replace an heirloom that's been in the family for generations. I'm now back home, and I can't stop thinking about it. Up until this point, I was sure I did everything right, but maybe I'm being blinded by my grief. A friend suggested I ask for an objective opinion and recommended this place. So, am I the a-hole?
Oh,
That's the question. Would you give back your dead spouse's family heirloom ring?
I think it depends on the stipulations on what was the expectation when she was given the ring.
I will say I do see that the fact that it is a family heirloom and maybe it has like ancient history,
Historical
beyond
significance.
that, I do see where it's like, dang, that does like kind of suck that it's not in the like family line anymore. I kind of get that, you know.
I wonder if the dead fiance would want her to still have it.
I kind of feel like it because if he got it the first month they started dating, asked for the grandma's blessing, I don't know.
I don't know, but I want to know what all y'all think. What would you do in this situation? Would you keep the heirloom? Would you give it back? Would you be mad if you gave someone your heirloom and then when you died from beyond the grave, would you be mad from beyond the grave? If you were the dead fiance's position.
My neighbor is suing me for $235,000 for not walking my kids home from the bus stop.
You're a terrible parent, OP.
So I just got civil court papers and I am freaking out.
As you should be. Have you ever gotten sued?
Technically once. It was kind of my family.
Your family sued you?
No, not my family. Someone sued me and my family, low-key.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, we can break that down.
We'll save it for the end.
Yeah, I want to hear that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm very interested.
So the bus drops off the neighborhood kids at the bus stop across the street from my house. Our house is located at a dead end, and there is a T intersection, and the bus does a 3-point turn.
Okay. Thanks for the bus logistics.
Yeah. So the furthest that the bus backs up to is 40 feet from my driveway. Now, the dead end is where my son crosses. It's about 125 feet to the bus.
That's so dangerous.
Oh,
Dead
125
end?
feet?
That's where people die.
All of this is on camera. And after analyzing my footage, my son doesn't even reach the road until the bus is gone. It takes my son longer just to walk through our neighbor's yard than it does for the bus to back up to our driveway. I couldn't find one instance of them being at the road and in danger at the same time. But now the neighbor is claiming a grand whopping total of $159,925
Wow.
for 5 years of lost wages.
For what?
Her affidavit states that she can't get a job because then there would be no one to protect my son from the bus. It states that someone really needs to protect him from the bus potentially running him over until he is 13 years old. And this is around $20,000 a year.
I want to see what her hourly wage is based on the.
Yeah.
Let's do some quick math.
How long does it take you to walk across the driveway?
Woman is asking for $232 an hour for watching a kid.
So she is claiming another $75,000 for emotional distress to her and her children. She said that this charge was for the emotional trauma being inflicted every day of my son almost getting run over by the bus. The school has never called about it. The bus driver has never said anything to my son or myself. I have waited for my son at the bus stop before, and she didn't say anything to me. Around 8 kids are getting dropped off at that stop, and there's no parents waiting beside the bus.
She sued all of them too.
Yeah. They're all catching cases left and right.
Really. She's gonna be rich.
I doubt this is relevant to the case, but this neighbor does have some mental issues with her.
That seems very relevant to the case.
Her kids are not allowed to walk on grass because it might. Wait. Her kids are not allowed to walk on grass because it might be sprayed with chemicals.
Bro, her kids can't even touch grass.
She yelled over the fence last year when we were having a fire in our yard saying, "The ground is dry. You'll burn the whole neighborhood down. Put it out."
That is literally how I imagine her sounding. Like you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Definitely paints the picture, right?
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
We also have a trampoline, and she came to our door to tell us how dangerous it was, and it was just a matter of time before somebody gets hurt. And this lady shovels her whole ass driveway every winter for hours because snowblowers are too dangerous.
I can't relate to them from California. I have no idea.
Don't know about that, but yeah. I offered to plow her driveway once.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah. And she told me, "Get that machine away from me. What are you trying to kill me?"
She seems totally sane.
Totally. I don't know what to do. Should I get a lawyer, talk to her, sit at the bus stops for my son? Ladies and gentlemen, we have an OP here who needs our help. So please tell us.
Yeah, what should she do?
What should OP do? Sam.
I guess like I've had people threaten to sue me before, and so I just ignore it, and it went away.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, can OP just ignore this?
This one, 1,000%.
I think just ignore it.
I think that's
right?
great advice.
Yeah. The law sucks. In conclusion, I fired my babysitter for getting drunk on the job. I protected my children, but now my husband is furious with me. My 37 female babysitter, 16 female, has been babysitting me for about 2 months. Pretty old to be babysat at 37.
On. Yeah, grow up.
Sorry, has been babysitting for me. She's a very sweet and quiet girl and is good with the kids, 4 female and 8 male. We've only had small problems here and there, but nothing major at all. When she first started babysitting for me, I had asked her if there was any drinks or snacks that she'd like me to keep at the house, as she's there from 9 to 7 every day, Monday through Saturday. And she said, "Hand me the tequila, baby."
Captain Morgan.
She mentioned that she really likes seltzer, hard seltzer water, and I had bought them for her the first month. But honestly, I forgot after a while and never kept any in the fridge. A few days ago, I bought hard seltzers for me and my husband and didn't think anything of it.
Oh, no.
OP. A little bit after 2 p.m., she messaged me that she wasn't feeling well and thought she may have to go home and asked if it was possible I could get off from work earlier. I asked her to try and hold out until the end of the day. Not too long after, she called me crying, saying something was wrong and she had to go home. She was drunk.
Oh, this poor babysitter.
Clearly, Clearly, she drank the hard seltzers. I told her to leave and she walked home. She messaged me the next day and said that she now knew that hard seltzers were alcohol and she hadn't known. She never drank before as both of her parents were alcoholics. Oh no.
God.
Yo. And she has diagnosed PTSD regarding alcohol. She never planned on drinking in general. I told her not to come back as she put my children in danger. She called me crying and saying that she didn't know and that she cared deeply about my children and would never ever drink with them or at all, and that she needs the money to pay for her driver's permit. She comes from a not well-off family. I told her to find a real job and that it wasn't my fault she got drunk. My husband says I'm being very rude and that she did try to reach out when she wasn't feeling well. My kids are upset to see her go. So Reddit, am I the a-hole?
Oh my God.
Okay, put your answers in the comments right freaking now. I think it needs to be teared right now, honestly.
Man. Yeah.
But John, what do you think?
This is one of the clearest cut cases of OP being the a-hole that we've ever seen. You got hard seltzer and seltzers.
After she specifically asked for seltzers in the fridge.
She had no idea. She literally said that she had PTSD. She has trauma from her parents' alcoholism and she didn't want to drink. And then you blame her.
Low key, if anything, you might be liable for some kind of lawsuit for like child endangerment of her. And she tried to do everything responsible. She's like, hey, I'm not feeling too well. And like, she had no idea what was happening.
Totally. And was probably I feel like I would be freaking out if I had never been drunk before and I accidentally got drunk and didn't know what was happening.
Tell us what you think if OP's the a-hole or not, but I also want to hear your first drinking story. What was your first experience getting drunk or drinking?
I took my brother's $500,000 life insurance money and I'm not giving his wife or kid a cent. Am I the a-hole?
I'm almost suspecting that this guy is a murderer and stole the money.
Is this about to be like a true crime?
This is about to be an episode of Scooby-Doo.
I, 40 male, lost my brother, 42 male, Jay, in a car accident a few months ago. Growing up, he was the golden child. He got a full ride to a prestigious college while I had to pay my own way and eventually drop out. He went on to grad school, but I got married and settled down with my wife, 42 female, Brittany, early on. We have had financial struggles, which caused us to not be able to start a family. We live paycheck to paycheck in a one-bedroom apartment. Jay always made good money, but wasn't lucky in love. He was very picky, and while we had some longer 1 to 2 year relationships, he was looking for perfection before getting married.
Sounds like man wasn't trying to settle.
He finally married his wife, 40 female, Mary, in 2019. She also made good money like Jay. She also had 2 children from a previous relationship. One is in college, and the other will be starting next year. She and Jay also had twin girls about a year ago. Mary and Jay both worked and have a nanny they share with a neighbor for their girls. When they got pregnant, she sold her house where they were living, and he sold his condo that he had been renting out, and they bought a larger family home together. All this to say money is not a problem for them.
It sounds like OP wants the money and his brother's wife.
Oh, God. Like I said, Jay passed away recently in a car accident.
A car accident that OP caused.
And Mary found out that I was the beneficiary of his 401k and life insurance policy through his employer. The life insurance is $150,000, but the 401k is much more substantial. He set it up that way years before Mary was in the picture and never changed it. Mary begged me to give her a portion of the money, but I said no.
Mary, why don't you go have a little lamb? I'm going to sit on this pile of cash, though.
You have your little lamb. I'm going to buy myself a lamb. A Lamborghini. Vroom, vroom. She inherited his part of their house and their joint savings account, which is around 50 grand. She said that she paid for his funeral, and to make it work on her income alone, she will have to sell the house, give up the nanny, put the girls in daycare, and won't be able to help her older kids with college the way that she planned.
OP.
Oh boy. I told her that's not my fault. If he wanted to change the beneficiary, he should have done that.
I feel like this isn't respecting his brother's wishes.
But he didn't. So now the money is mine.
Oh my God. You sound like Scrooge.
My wife and I plan to use the money to buy a home and finally start a family. She says her husband's money should go to his children, but she doesn't see that me using the money to have my own children is more important. Our parents think I'm an a-hole because the money should go to his kids. I offered to take $50K and put it in a trust for the girls' education, but they said Mary needs the money now. They said the life insurance would pay off their mortgage and the boys' college and put money away for the girl's future. And her income would cover the rest so they wouldn't have to move. But what about my family?
Yeah, it's tricky, man.
I think the question here is, what would you do if you suddenly got
$500,000.
and he has a wife and kids?
I feel like the right thing to do would probably be split it.
I think that's a good perspective.
I mean, maybe he did mean to give it all to you. I find it hard to believe that he would, seeing that he has 2 daughters. Even taking half seems kind of...
Giving just 50 grand out of 500.
I think OP's the a-hole a little bit. He definitely would want his kids to have something. Peeping Tom took photos of me in my underwear smoking that sweet grass, and I think he's going to blackmail me with it. This is a bizarre situation, and I have never encountered anything like it before, so please bear with me.
Bear Grylls over here. Maybe we read the stories like Bear Grylls.
Yeah. About a week ago, I was home alone in the evening, just hanging out on the couch, watching TV while my husband was at band practice. I was also smoking weed. Weed is decriminalized, I believe, in North Carolina, but still illegal. So not making any excuses for that. That's what I was doing. It is what I is. I'm a dirty, dirty criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are.
Lock him up.
We own our house and have a large fenced-in backyard with big floor-to-ceiling windows looking out on the yard. If someone's like has giant glass windows,
Yeah.
If you're clapping cheeks on this window, is it illegal for someone to film you?
Definitely. The person filming, they're getting hit with a charge because
Right.
they're recording it, right?
So, but yeah, I guess so.
Because the person, the couple, they should be straight because they're like in their, I imagine.
That's
'cause
really
they're in their
close-minded of
own-
you. They should be straight just because they're
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, John. I can't believe you.
Canceled.
We keep the blinds and curtains closed when we aren't home and at night, but usually we leave the blinds up just a bit during the day at the bottom so that our dog and cats can look outside and watch squirrels and such while we're gone. It's kind of cute.
That's nice.
This particular day, it didn't occur to me to fully close the blinds at the bottom. It's only about maybe a foot of exposed window, and our yard has a 7 or 8 foot privacy fence and tons of mature pine trees that make it impossible for neighbors behind us to see in. It was dark around 9:30 p.m. and I was smoking out of a large glass bong. I'd have a roommate that had a big bong, so. Oh wait, no, that's not.
Oh yeah, you did.
Big bong. I was sucking from
Big
that
Bong
thing.
Billy. Banging on Billy Bob's bong dong.
With open windows, of course.
Yeah, that's how we do it,
Making
baby.
sure the whole door
Yeah.
saw.
But it's not allowed because it's not straight.
Yeah.
That's the one scenario that we can't. That's the one scenario that we can't allow.
Suddenly, I saw a weird flash coming from the window I described, like a phone's camera flash.
Oh.
I didn't think anything of it. Figured I was being paranoid. Maybe it's like lightning or something, you know?
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
Until yesterday, I get home from work and check the mail. In the mailbox was an unaddressed envelope, and inside were several grainy pictures of me from that night sitting on the couch,
Oh my God.
huge glass bong in hand. They weren't great quality, but it was clearly me. Clearly a bong. And there's also a jar of weed visible on the coffee table in front of me. Oh no. Low key though, but like with AI and shit, like anyone can make
Everything's
like
fake now.
Photoshop. Everything's fake. Yo, just Photoshop. Just that's an easy out.
Yeah.
You know? There was also a printed note stating that if I didn't want these photos getting out to family members or the police, I would send various nude photos of myself to an email address, as well as photos of myself in specific outfits I often wear to work. That is so
creepy.
disgusting.
Disgusting.
I thought when I was reading this initially, I thought it was going to be like money or something.
Right.
You know, but obviously I'm not going to do that. And we'll just go to the police with the printed photos and the note. Is there not enough porn out there? Is there not enough porn? You need more. My question is, will I get into any kind of trouble with the police for photos of me smoking weed? I will get all the marijuana and paraphernalia out of the house before going to the police, of course. Having to do community service or drug classes or testing won't prevent me from going to police over this. I just want to get this creep arrested. I have suspicion of who it is. Whoever this person is has to be dumb as fuck. Like if someone's trying to get like nudie pictures of me from work, like the only person it could probably be is John.
Oh, God.
And so at least
my plan's been exposed.
At least I know who it is. I want to get this creep arrested. I have a suspicion of who it is, so he doesn't do this to anyone else. I just want to know what to expect. Please let me know if there's any additional information I can provide. Okay, there is an update, and it's a juicy update. But John, before we get into the update, what would you do in this situation? And is OP the a-hole for reporting this guy?
Yeah, not the a-hole. I'm saying not the a-hole. I'm putting everything I am on that. Really quick before I answer that, I think it would be interesting. We asked earlier for people to share their stories if someone's done something similar to them.
Yeah, have you ever been like stalked, or has someone taken photos of you against your will?
I'd also be curious, I'm guessing that's what happened with this Reddit story, of other people's advice, even if they don't have an experience themselves. If they have, like, I imagine like North Carolina lawyers in this story probably helped,
like
right?
what would you do if you were stalked?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious if anyone also has advice, maybe your lawyer, whatever. You could share that in the comments below as well. I think definitely it's worth the I guess the risk of going to the North Carolina Police Department and being like, okay, yeah, like I won't lead with it, obviously, but like there is weed in it or whatever.
Okay, you ready for this juicy update?
All right, spill it on me.
It's juicy. It's juicy.
Serenade me in it.
Update. I had a pretty good idea of who this creeper was, and it turns out I was right. On to the updates. We both took the day off work yesterday to deal with this nonsense, and I set up a meeting with my family's lawyer, also a close family friend, which is why I was able to get a meeting so quickly for this morning. The first thing we did was review the camera footage again for the last couple of weeks. Nothing there, so we moved on to my neighbors. We're pretty friendly with most of our neighbors, and I'm very good friends with a few of them. So we popped over for some visits yesterday. As I mentioned, the suspected creep is known for being a creep in the neighborhood. Being seen in people's yards, staring at women as they jog or walk their dogs, Facebook stalking, you probably know the drill. Yikes, what a nerd. He is the son of a neighbor across the street from me. I thought he was a teenager, but turns out he's in his 20s. Neighbor A, who lives next door to him, mentioned that he was a big reason they put up a security fence, as he would often be caught peeking through the hedges at neighbor A whenever she was in their pool, tanning, or gardening.
God.
So freaking weird. Neighbor B said she actually had some similar peeping Tom incidents last year. Camera flashes at the windows at night whenever her boyfriend wasn't home. She never got any photos or notes, but she did get some bizarre, quote unquote, gifts left on her back patio, like a single size 10 red high-heeled shoe, a lawn statue of a female gnome in a bikini, and a bag of what appeared to be homemade brownies that she, of course, threw away. That is a weird assortment of gifts. But hey, at least he's given some unique shit. They never put up cameras or anything and never saw or caught who was doing it. She seemed pretty nonchalant about the whole thing, which is typical for her, I suppose. Then I emailed our neighborhood watch coordinator, a woman you do not want to mess around with.
Ooh.
I left out the parts about the photos of me getting baked in my underwear and watching Adventure Time and just stuck to Peeping Tom might have taken photos of me in my house and left a note in my mailbox. Then we went home and I went out back to mess around with my dog. And that's when I saw it. Placed dead center in one of our garden beds, a lawn statue of a female gnome in a bikini.
Dude, it's giving Ted Bundy. I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it.
I am not. But all right, now I got to look it up.
It's kind of cute, I guess.
Fucking weirdo.
Like in an adorable way.
I texted a picture of it to neighbor B, asking her if this was the same one she also received. And it was. There was a piece of paper sticking out from underneath saying, "Nudes or else. You know what to do." At this, I was less freaked out and more just like amused. I don't think this guy really thought there was scheme all the way through. I showed my husband and we laughed for 5 straight minutes about the absurdity of all this. This idiot didn't even notice the very obvious security cameras put up facing the yard.
There we go.
There we go, OP. As Nana would say, that boy ain't got the good sense God gave a goose.
I love that.
So we went in, Reviewed the security footage, and sure enough, it was who I thought it was. The creep from across the street. We got everything together, the notes, the photos, garden gnome, and the file from the cameras, made copies of it all, and went about the rest of our day knowing we'd see our lawyer this morning. Then, last night around 10:30, we were getting ready for bed when our doorbell rang. We saw the blue flashes of police car lights through the blinds, so honestly, my stomach dropped. We had gotten rid of everything incriminating, but I was pretty scared. It wasn't the police, at our house anyway, but the neighborhood watch coordinator. I'll call her NWC. Not to be confused with the NWA.
Yeah, I was about to say, what does this stand for?
She hadn't responded to my email because she had been dealing with a whole other mess all day. Apparently, neighborhood creep tried to pull the same scheme with someone else, except it was a 16-year-old girl.
Oh,
shit. And that's like, that's jail.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
jail time.
You're doing
jail.
serious,
You're doing jail, big boy.
Serious time.
He had taken photos of her and some friends drinking Bud Light Lime in their backyard, as well as photos of her changing clothes through her bedroom window. Wow, that's bad. Luckily, she had good sense to tell her parents, and they also had security cameras installed in their yard. The footage they had of him was at night and he was wearing a hoodie, but he left their yard in the direction of the house and had the same build as neighborhood creep. The girl had seen creep watching her and her friends, so she knew it was him. And I guess other people had complained enough about him that there was enough of a paper trail for the police to come and arrest him, or at least take him in for questioning.
Wow.
I'm not really sure how these things work, but I did see them take him away in a police car. Maybe there was other evidence that NWC had. I don't know. Anyway, NWC asked me if I had any footage of him and recommended I turn it over to the police. I said we would be talking to our lawyer first, but we wanted this guy out of the neighborhood, so we would be in touch with the police and would follow up after we spoke to her this morning. We met with her lawyer this morning and gave her all the stuff we had and told her that this guy had been taken in last night for the same thing. She was very confident that I would not be in any trouble whatsoever for the photos, the weed photos.
That's good.
Especially given this guy's now established history of sneaking pictures of women in these sorts of positions for the purpose of trying so badly to blackmail them.
Mm-hmm.
The police were at Creep's house again today, putting some stuff in boxes from the house in their cars. I do feel bad for his mother. She's actually a very nice woman, if a bit doormatty. Anyway, that's that for now. We'll be keeping all our weed and accessories at my brother-in-law's house for now, and neither of us will be smoking until this whole thing is resolved, just in case. Thanks for all of your advice and tips, everyone. I will update again later if there's anything to update on. P.S. The bikini lawn gnome is currently in possession of my lawyer or the police, but I hope to be able to recover it after this is all done. I kind of want to display it in my front yard as a trophy.
Wow.
And that's a wrap.
My goodness.
Yeah. What a freaking story. I mean, I want to know all of your crazy stalker photos, or if anyone has ever taken pictures of you without your consent. Or just like, I don't know, weirdo creepos.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty that you guys have experienced.
The stories, not the actual photos, of course.
Yeah, don't
You
send
literally
the
said,
photos.
I want to see all your...
Dang it, John.
Got your back, baby.
Yes, please tell us the stories of that happening. But John, what do you think OP should have done in this situation? Do you think she did anything wrong? Do you think she did anything like very right? And have you ever had a creepo stalker situation of your own?
So I kind of slightly have, and I'll explain in a second. But yeah, I mean, I can't like nothing. I don't think I would have done anything differently if not like dive in deeper to see like what are all the charges we can like slap on this guy to like get him as much. But also it kind of seems like OP's like, all right, it's handled. Like I don't, which is also like,
yeah, who wants to go through like
all that stuff?
Yeah,
like, you know, she's just like, we got him. It's good, you know, which, hey, great. So yeah, I think OP handled it very well, contacted the lawyer, figured everything out. And like, she wanted to stop him so he didn't do it anymore, which is like, that's like the biggest thing. And she succeeded. So that's fantastic.
But we'd love to know your stalker stories. So if you have any, please share them. And what did you do?
A disabled person keeps parking where I don't want them to, so I got them towed. Am I the a-hole?
Really, if you think about it, OP is enabling the disabled person by making them move.
So I bought a house a few months ago and I moved in last month. The previous owner was a friendly old man that could no longer live alone, so he decided to sell and move in with his daughter. Just to be clear, I put disabled in quotation marks because the lady...
I don't believe in his disability. I don't believe your legs don't work.
Come on. Prove it. I put this in quotation marks because the lady in question is just really, really overweight, and I'm not sure if that counts as disabled.
Just because you caused your own disability doesn't mean that you aren't disabled.
Yes.
You know, like if I shoot both of my kneecaps and can't walk, I'm still disabled even though I shot both my kneecaps.
Great move.
How many people have knee problems, right? Like, I can't run well. Like my knees hurt. Just shoot them. Get rid of them.
Now, apparently he had been allowing use of his driveway to his disabled neighbor lady largely because street parking is extremely limited, and what little street parking there is pretty much instantly occupied. What I'm saying is unless you have a driveway, you end up parking a good 5-minute walk away, and that's a best case scenario.
And a 5-minute walk for an obese disabled person is more like a 10-minute roll.
I mean, I'm just going to let that one sit where it is. Obviously, I was unaware of this, so I was surprised to see a large SUV, parked in my driveway when I moved in.
It's like a flatbed truck.
I ended up having to knock on several doors asking whose car it was because there were movers who could not stand still on the busy road for long. I figured it was the neighbor's car, so after 10 minutes of knocking, an extremely angry, enormous lady opened the door. I told her to move the car, and she immediately started arguing that the neighbor said it was fine. I told her he's moved out. I moved in, and no, it's not fine, and to move it because the movers need to unload my stuff. She begrudgingly did. I ended up seeing her walk back half an hour later, completely wet with sweat.
Oh, no.
Goodness gracious.
Damn, dude.
Not
low key though. OP might be helping her avoid a heart attack with this one, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe this
Just
is the fitness program she needed to turn it around.
The old car walk. Now, a few days later, I went back to work, and lo and behold, SUV is parked in my driveway again.
Dude, she's addicted to the workout now.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like Barry's boot camp, but for obese people.
I go over there again, spend 20 minutes knocking on the door before this lady opens the door again, visibly angry. I tell her to move her car. My driveway.
I wonder if it's taking 20 minutes because it takes her 20 minutes to walk across her house. Oh, we're gonna get so canceled for this one.
Yeah, you're on your own on this one, buddy. I tell her to move her car. My driveway is not public parking. She protests, saying her ankles can't take walking the distance and claims that I can easily walk. I tell her that while that might be true, it's my god dang driveway and I want to park there myself.
Damn straight, yo.
Again, she moves her car. Again, I spot her half an hour later, drenched in sweat, making her way home. Well, it happened again a week or so ago.
Oh, man.
And this time, she would not open her door. I got tired of it and had her SUV towed.
Oh, that's a long walk.
It is. That is a very long walk. It is escalating. She, of course, came to my house to scream at me. I told her to get the hell off my property. A few days later, I had a small fence installed with a lock on it to make sure she didn't do it again. So I guess on the parking spot.
Low key smart. I feel like OP is just making smart moves. He's playing chess over here.
Definitely 4D chess over here.
Yeah. He's nuts on your chest. There we go.
I have since been getting dirty looks from her and one other neighbor. When I told my mom, she told me that I should be nicer to people. I do sort of feel bad. She clearly struggles with the walk after all. So the question is to the OKOP gang, was OP the a-hole? Now, I want to know what you all think. This is one of the trickier ones, one of the trickier, stickier ones. But Sam,
trickier, sweatier, stickier one.
Sweaty, sticky. Sam, wipe those beads off your forehead and tell us, what do you think?
Okay, well, I think if he noticed that she's parking there a lot and he doesn't use it, just like say like, hey, for a monthly fee, you could park there. However long you want. You know,
okay.
It sounds like she really needs to park
Interesting
there.
solution.
So I say put that capitalist monopoly man hat on.
Yeah.
And make some money off this lady.
There we go.
At the very least. Or, I mean, I guess you could be like a nice neighbor. Just let her park there if you don't need to. But That's gross.
Come on.
Go on.
Why be nice when you
When
can
you
have
can be a
money
capitalist,
instead?
when you can be Jeff Bezos of parking spaces on your neighborly streets.
100% monopoly.
Yeah. Now he's going to sell all the parking spaces up and down the block.
You know, that's an interesting idea because we read a story just a few weeks back where it was an airplane seat and the person was too large and he spilled over. And so OP's offer was like, hey, I'll take 150, which is like what it would be or whatever.
I think she would pay it, dude.
It's an interesting idea. I think it's definitely a good thing to offer.
Yeah. At the end of the day, yes, like a little bit of a dick move, but it is also his spot, so he can do whatever he wants with it. She's in the wrong for parking in his spot. Like it sounds like he needs it too.
Am I the a-hole for having my daughter write a morbid family tree project? Her teacher is furious at me.
Morbid family tree? Like, is it just that they're all dead?
Sam,
most of your family?
Sam, how dare you bring up your deceased great-great-great-great-grandfather in this class? My biological family is dead. I was raised in foster care, so my friends are my family. I met my late husband in college. He was just raised by his mother, who abandoned him and later passed away, and he had no adoptive family. As an adult, I've looked into both family trees and who our biological ancestors are. To put it mildly, either really dangerous people and or dead people. Also, my late husband and older son passed away in a car crash. My daughter is in kindergarten, and she, and more accurately me, was supposed to do a family tree for a school project.
Stop rhyming, OP.
I tried speaking with her teacher that this was not going to be a Pollyanna pie in the sky report. The teacher is one of those people that can't comprehend that family sometimes is a dark subject and insisted that it needed to be biological. So I did.
Oh, dang. So we're going to get some dirt.
You want a dark report? We're going to give you one.
Oh, yeah.
For some of them, like my daughter's father and my son, I have actual information for that aside from just the fact that they've passed away. But for most of my family and my daughter's paternal family, I literally only have birth date, death date, when they would have had their kids, and some cemetery information. It was supposed to have 10 pictures, but most of the pictures I have of my ancestors are only headstones. I made a trip when my husband and I were first married to take pictures of the headstones, so I included those pictures in the report. I only have 3 pictures total of my biological family, and most of them were group shots where I could only label maybe 3 people. I don't have any pictures of my late husband's family from before me and my kids, but I put some of the older ones in there too. So while the other kids had long family trees, my daughter was basically introducing the concept of death to her kindergarten class. Now I'm getting slammed with calls from other parents, teachers, and the principal.
All the kids are coming back. I'd be like, am I going to die, mommy?
They were appalled that I allowed such a morbid report, and they're saying that I traumatized their children. Come on. I don't think I did anything wrong. They wanted a report on her biological ancestors, so I gave it, and I kept it G-rated. I just didn't lie that people were alive when they weren't. I don't raise her to think that death is taboo or something to be ashamed of anyways. Death is a part of life. Most of her/my family has passed away. So talking about family just means talking about death, and it's just something you have to accept. So the question is, am I the a-hole? So ladies and gentlemen, the question is OP the a-hole? Is the teacher the a-hole? And I think the big question is, what would you do if you were OP in this situation?
I mean, I think you just do the presentation as
you let it
as
rip?
Yeah, let it rip. I was thinking back. Did you do one of these like genealogy projects in
I
middle
don't think
school?
I ever did.
I remember doing that.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because it's like I get to ask my parents a lot about my family that I didn't actually even realize. And so I think it's more about the kid learning about their history than it is about like anything else. And so to lie about where your family came from would actually be like disrespecting the integrity of the report. Yeah, I think completely not the a-hole. I guess that's where we'll end.
See you later, guys.